Feel like you've aged out of parenthood? Are you finally ready to be a mother, but the alarm on your biological clock has been going off for 15 years? The good news, life can change in an instant. Trust me, I should know. And remember, don't call me ma'am, call me mom. Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Call Me Ma'am. I'm Jodi Miller, and don't call me ma'am. You can, for the purposes of this episode, call me mom because I'm a mom, and that's what we're talking about, my journey to motherhood. This next guest I am so excited to have because we've known each other, over 10 years? Definitely over 10 years.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely over 10 years when we were in elementary school. That's how we met. She's amazing. She does comedy, she's an actor, she's a writer, she's an author, she's a producer, she's a kick-ass woman, she's a wife, she's a daughter, she's a friend. We also get our hair colored by the same person. Shout out Lisa.
Yes.
Start clapping right now, and by that I mean pull over to the side of the road. We don't want any accidents. Okay, ready for the hyphenated name? It's Austin Highsmith
Garces.
Garces. I was going to say Garcia. Garces, yay!
People are always like, do you mean Graces? And I'm like,
do
no,
they?
I don't spell my last name
Gracies.
incorrectly on purpose.
Gracias?
Yeah.
Gracias? Oh my God, welcome. It has been, over 10 years.
Yeah, a really long time.
Yeah, you came to me, you were like, let's do some stand-up, and you did.
Well, I started stand-up
You
on
guys
a
weren't married
dare.
at the time either. You weren't married
No.
to Teddy at the time, no?
Yeah, we had just started dating, actually.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. But I started stand-up on a dare, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm really bad at not taking dares.
Oh, that's the competitive shit.
Not like the dares like, I bet you can't jump off this building. But the dares that are rational.
Okay, so who,
know?
well, first of all, who dared you?
My best friend Cozy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice,
Because
Cozy.
we were on, I think it was it was just before Dolphin Tale 2. And we had been hanging out a lot, and she was like, you're really funny. And I was like, well, actually, everyone says I'm not funny because that's what my agents have always said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Always, like, you can't do comedy, you're not funny. And I was like,
How supportive of them.
I know. And I was like, well, no, actually, I'm not funny. And she was like, no, you are. And I think you should do stand-up. And I was like, okay, no. And she was like, well, I dare you within the next year to start doing stand-up. And I was like, that's the most random dare ever. But
Ever?
Okay. Like, before it was like, I bet you can't eat French fries for a year. And I was like, done.
I would not be able to do that, so.
I did it for a whole year. I
whole
cut out
year?
sugar and French fries for an entire year.
How did you feel?
Great, really great. And actually you can smell things and taste things on a different level when you cut sugar out of your diet.
Are you still off sugar?
No.
Oh, damn.
Not at all. I am starting it again on Saturday though for the month of March until my birthday. My husband was like, let's do that. And I was like, okay.
Somebody needs to dare me to do that.
I will dare you to not eat sugar for the month of March and let me know how you feel.
Okay, guys, you heard it here. Tune into my Instagram page and see me crying a lot. Okay.
They have great sugar-free stuff.
They do. Okay.
So I had been coming to your comedy shows with Lisa.
Right.
Again, shout out to Lisa because of the hair.
Your hair.
But she said that you taught a comedy class, and I was like, okay, great. So I reached out to you, and you were like, yeah, I'm teaching one pretty soon. And it was the scariest thing. It's the scariest thing I've ever done.
It is.
Doing stand-up.
It was the scariest thing I ever did the first time I did it, and I tell anyone out there that's like, I think I kind of want to do stand-up. It is the scariest thing you will ever do. Public speaking is the number one fear. Dying is number two. So public speaking is number one, and now add on the element of you have to make people laugh.
Yes.
It's terrifying.
Strangers who paid.
Exactly. Having said that, it's the most, and I also was, I started on stage doing musicals, acting, all of it. It was the most exhilarating, moment of your life. Like, you know what I mean? That rush of adrenaline and endorphins, and you're just like, oh my God, it becomes like a drug. You just want more of it.
I ended up stopping after I headlined a show because I actually blacked out. I don't remember it at all. And I was like, I think that's trauma. So maybe I'll just stick to the writing part of it. But, you got me writing. It was because of you that I have now sold screenplays.
Oh, guys.
And written scripts.
It's me.
I mean, I'm truly,
No, that's so
it
sweet.
is.
I mean, you're always a great writer. It is one of those things, though. Stand-up actually opened so many doors for me. I didn't get into stand-up because I was like, oh, I have to be a stand-up. A producer, casting director was like, you're really funny. You should do stand-up. And I was acting. I was like, I'll do anything. I was 24. I was like, let's do it. But it opened every door for me, including this podcast. I mean, when I first started in this industry, I was like, I'm an actor and that is it. That's the only thing I am. And if anybody tries to get me to do anything else, I'd be like, absolutely not. Like, that's what we think when we're young. You know what I mean? There's only one path to get to where you need to go. When in reality, there's so many paths. To get to where you need to go. And sometimes you get somewhere even better. Yes, of course, now you have to, for sure. Speaking of that, my journey to motherhood was not a straight line. It wasn't even like a detour. It was like so many detours, road closures, like this is not a through street. I mean, there were so many ways, and then I finally got there. And that brings me to why you are actually a guest of mine. Because I want to talk about the fact that you are married. How long you guys have been married now, what?
Almost 9 years.
Almost 9 years, yeah, because they were dating when she took my class. And you are childless by choice.
Yes. Well, we had originally wanted kids.
Right.
So my entire life, like as a kid, I never thought about getting married. Like it wasn't.
I didn't either, actually. Think about getting married or have kids. That was never.
I always wanted kids.
Oh, you always did.
Always wanted kids.
Okay.
Like as a kid, I would be in a store with my mom, and I'd be like, I want those baby shoes, and she was like, why? And I was like, well, for my kids. And she's like, you're 10, so let's just calm down.
So let's get you on the pill immediately.
But yeah, I just always thought about being a mother. Like it's kind of all I ever dreamed of. And of course, I'm, a child of the 80s growing up in the South, like, health issues, like what? Like those don't exist. Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
Turns out I have a lot of health conditions. So after we got married, we really wanted kids because I just wanted more of my husband in the world more than anything else. Like, because he's the greatest person ever. But I started to get tested and figured out that like I have Ehlers-Danlos, which means that it's going to be really hard for me to carry to term with the kind that I have.
Right.
And a bunch of other different health issues. And so it became clear that like having a child biologically was a very slim chance that I was going to be able to do that. And I remember talking to Teddy, my husband, and I was like, well, like also with my health conditions, like IVF would be really hard for me to go through. And he was like, yeah, somebody else carrying your baby would be weird. And I was like, well, I guess we know how you feel about surrogacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's not what I was talking about.
Right.
But, okay, great.
Now we know. Got it.
And we just, I don't know, both of us were just, adoption wasn't really something that we ever really strongly considered.
Right.
And the more we talked about it, we were like, it's really expensive. Like, I just don't think it's going to be something that we really want to do.
Right.
And then also for him, like he was like, if I have a kid, I want it to be biologically mine.
I get it.
So it just became a thing of going, I guess this is not the path that we're on. And, financially too, it's like, it became very clear during COVID that like, I'm kind of glad we don't have a kid at this point because like all of our friends are losing their minds. And, also with the industry that my husband and I are both in, the like insecurity around like, where are you going to be? Like, how much money are you going to be making? Like all that kind of stuff. Just, it really cemented the idea that our art is going to be our baby.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And our marriage was just kind of enough. Like I realized a couple of years into being married to this magnificent Dominican Thor is what I call him. Cause it's just like
Teddy.
The man doesn't, I don't understand the genetic makeup of this man. He's just impervious to anything. But I just woke up one day and I was like, I have not thought about having kids in so long, and for my whole life, it's all I thought about.
Wow.
And it just hit me. I was like, he's enough.
That's amazing because you and I are the opposite. Now, I didn't grow up. Well, what's interesting about it is that I didn't grow up thinking, oh, I want to get married. I didn't have a scrapbook with my future wedding in it. You know how girls are like, and this is the dress I'm gonna wear, and it's gonna be big puffy sleeves because 80s, you know what I mean? I have shoulder pads in my wedding dress. I was like, I didn't have any of that. I think I thought I'll be married one day. I also didn't think about being a mom. And what's very interesting about that is that I actually don't know if I always wanted to be a mother or I was just always good at mothering other people. I think I confused the two somewhere down the line. Also, as girls, we grow up believing you get married, you fall in love, you get married, you have children. Like, that's what we do. You know what I mean? That's what you do. And if you don't have children, maybe you're a step parent or you adopt. Like, it's just one of those things. So here I am trying to make it in an industry, as you know, that's so easy. It's just like,
so easy.
Yeah, it's just so easy. It's like we just go in and we just book roles all the time.
Yeah. You just knock on the door and you're like, I would like a job.
Oh, yeah. Well, my mom actually, side note, my mom was alive. She didn't contact me from the dead to tell me this, but the show House was her favorite show. And one of the season finales, two of the main doctors on the show were leaving Dr. House. Like, they were leaving the hospital. That was the storyline on the television show House. And my mother, I mean, she probably ran to the phone and called me and she said, did you see the season finale of House? I said, I did. She goes, those doctors left. That means they're going to be looking for actors to replace them. You should like get in touch with whoever makes those. I go, Mom, that's a storyline. They didn't leave the show. Right. They left the hospital, the fictitious hospital that they all work at. They're no longer working for him because they've had enough. Like, they're still on the show. She's like, are you sure? He's going to need more doctors to work. I'm like, okay, this conversation is over. But
my favorite is my dad will call me and he's like, I watched this movie last night and you know, I think you should have been in it. And I'm like, well, if you saw it, they're done casting.
They're done. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not still looking for people to be in the movie that you watched.
Yes. So the point of this podcast is don't become your parents. If you are a parent. I'm definitely already becoming my mom. But again, I didn't think about, I always want to be a mom. I just didn't. I kept thinking there was going to be more time, more time. And I don't, thankfully, have health issues, but I kept putting it off. My father, on the other hand, and I want to ask you about your parents too, but my father always wanted a grandchild. My mom never put that pressure on me. My dad was like, when are you going to do that? And egg freezing was not, I mean, it was happening, but it was very expensive then.
Yeah.
It's expensive now,
it's expensive
but it was
now.
even more expensive then.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, to be honest with you, I wanted what you have with Teddy. I was ready to say, if I meet a guy and he doesn't want to have kids, or he has kids from a previous relationship and he doesn't want anymore, but he'll say to me, I'll be enough, we'll be enough, then I would have done that. I would have taken that road. I kind of threw it out into the universe. So I threw it out to the universe, like, bring me the man or the baby.
Right.
And the baby came. So I'm hoping they're just like, but the man's going to come a little bit later. He's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand where Teddy was coming from, wanting to have your own biological child. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to mourn that loss. Did you feel like you had to, once you were like,
gosh,
you had to mourn that?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, without question. And I still sometimes get like a little sad, you know, like I'll be hanging out with my nieces and nephews and I'm like, oh man, it would be so great to, you know, to have this for myself. And, but at the same time, I have so much else that's like just filling me up that I just, you know, it's always just kind of like a passing thing, because then that man walks into the room and I'm like, you know, I just.
Do you make that noise when he walks in the room?
Oftentimes.
And he's still with you? Mm-hmm. Wow, he lets me be amazing.
He really is. Like, he lets me be my dorky self. Like, I am the most me around him that I've ever been in my life. It's awesome.
Okay, so really what we're going to do is we're going to clone her husband, and I'm going to marry him. That's what we're going to do. We're going to clone him as an adult, though. I don't need another baby.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you do. You kind of have to mourn it, but if it's just a passing thought, then you definitely, for where you're at right now, made the right decision. For me, it was, again, I almost felt like, not pressured into it. I think the death of my mother sort of propelled me into, if I'm going to do it, it's like shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Stick that sperm up me. Let's see what happens. And that's when I started to try to get pregnant on my own. I think, you know, looking at it, I was just throwing shit at the wall to see what stuck. I didn't even know that I was going to go down the adoption route because I wanted my own biological child because look at my hair. Look at this hair.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to pass this on.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
well, and your intelligence and just everything else about you.
The hair. It's one of those things that where you are, and then you feel like, oh God, am I just so like full of myself that I want to create another version of me? But I mean, there was a lot of other amazing attributes that I wanted to pass down to my child, and you wanted to see yourself in that child.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I do in my daughter.
Wow.
She's so much like me. In every way, it's crazy. And she's got great hair. It's like identical to my hair when I was her age. It's really crazy. But she really is like, there's no time that I forget that she's not my own.
Right.
That she's not my biological child.
Right.
It's very, it's crazy. But more and more women are obviously coming out and speaking about being childless. And if you're a cat lady, that's cool too. I'm still a cat lady. I mean, a lot of celebrities talk about it. Chelsea Handler, Sarah Silverman, a lot of women. I don't forget the actress's name. I should probably have remembered this, but she's a well-known actress, British actress, never had children, and said the same thing. She's like, my career and my husband were enough. They were this was my babies.
Yeah.
These were my babies. I had moments, that I thought, oh, it would have been nice, but they were fleeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they weren't like fleeting at first because like
Right.
we were actively trying and like, I
Having
really
a lot of sex. They were having
Yeah.
a lot of sex. So much.
but I mean I really, really did want kids.
Right.
And especially like when all my friends started having kids and
Right.
then my brother started having kids.
Right.
But yeah, it was actually a huge surprise to me. Like the day that it hit me, like I have not thought about this
Right.
in a really long time.
Right.
And I think it was harder for our parents kind of.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you,
accept. Yeah. But luckily, so Teddy's brothers and his sister, well, not one of his brothers, but like the other brothers have a lot of children. And I mean, Teddy comes from a gigantic family, like
Right.
12 kids
Oh my God.
on both sides of his
Wow.
his mom and dad's families. Like
my
it
God.
is, my husband's Dominican.
Right.
Their Dominican family reunion in the DR is like 400 something people. I'm like, that's bigger than my graduating class.
I was going to say that's like a high school.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like they're all named like Jose, and they're
all Jose.
It's so
You could just yell.
actually
How many?
Teddy. Well, all three of Teddy. So Teddy, and both of his brothers, their first name is Jose. Yeah, their first name is Joseph. Yeah. So, and then they go by their middle name.
Right.
So it's
So if you had a child, it would obviously be
it would
Joseph.
also it would have to be Joseph. Yeah. And that was their dad's name too.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. So it's really funny. Like I'm like, okay, so which Jose are we talking about? Like, there's a lot of them. But then so his older brother has 4 kids, and then his sister has 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then my older brother has 3 kids.
Wow, okay.
And then my younger brother has 2, and they're not done. And I also make
They're not done.
They're not done. And I make quilts for all of my nieces and nephews on my family side. And I desperately need my sister-in-laws to stop having kids because it takes a lot of time to make a quilt. It's like
Yeah.
hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
It's very expensive too.
Just enough.
Yeah. So I make quilts instead of babies is basically what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, less expensive, easier to take care of.
Yes, you just need just need a washing machine. That's
it.
That's
Well,
it.
that's how I wash my daughter too.
Yeah.
I throw her in the machine.
It's very efficient.
It's so quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
gets all the private parts.
Could get really tangled with the hair, but
Yes.
as long as you put it up in a bonnet, then we're good.
Then I put a little
Yeah.
fabric softener in there with her in the dryer. She's so soft. My daughter is so soft and fluffy.
And static, like no
Yes,
static
nothing
at all.
sticks to her.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Meanwhile, Child Protective Services are going to start calling me and being like, did you really put your daughter in the washing machine?
Like for hide and go seek purposes.
I mean,
only. But yeah, so my parents, it was harder for them because they're also obsessed with Teddy. Like everybody's obsessed with Teddy. They meet him and they're like, "Oh my God, that's the most amazing human being." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I won." But because they have, my brothers,
Right, they have a lot of
who
grandchildren
were
already.
successful in
Right.
procreating. They're good. They're good. And I love my nieces and nephews. I mean, we're just,
Yeah.
oh God, they're great.
I mean, your awesome Aunt Austin.
They're hilarious too.
A's, you're AAA. You are AAA. You come there. You've come to the rescue.
And as a reliable driver too.
You were a great driver. Yes, you get discounts on so many things too with AAA over here. I mean, here's the reality. You get to spend quality time with your nieces and nephews, and then you get to leave.
Yeah.
I remember I was a nanny for a long period of time before I was a parent, you know, when I was in my early 30s. And I was thinking about it, and I loved this little girl, and I'm still friends with her to this day, and she's in her 20s, and I loved her and loved her family. But the best part about it was the day that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I gave my notice. I was like, oh, that's it. We're done. I can't do that. I can't do that with my daughter. Not that I want to, really, but I don't think, you just don't know until you know, and then you have a kid. And I had those thoughts like, what did I do? I actively went after this. I spent thousands of dollars, thousands upon thousands of dollars, so many years of my life going after it. And I did get to a point right before I actually became a parent that I sort of surrendered it, because I was like, what are you doing? You are trying to force a square into a circle hole. You know, when you get like an idea in your head, like, I've got to do this, I've got to accomplish this, and you'll do it no matter the cost, and you're just like going forward, even though it's clearly not the right decision for you, right? Not the right choice. I kept doing that, and I finally, like, it was right before the pandemic. I was like, I have to let it go. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I remember having a meditation on it and talking to my therapist at the time, and I said that there are two great loves in a person's life. There's that intimate love between two people, and a love between a parent and a child. Those are the two, in my opinion, the two greatest loves you can have in this lifetime, during your lifetime. And I never met my Teddy. I never met him. Yet. I haven't met him yet. That's how I'm going to phrase it. And at that point, I hadn't met him. In fact, I never actually said to another person in an intimate way, I'm in love with you. I love you. That's not been said. I've never had those moments that a lot of people have had. I didn't want to lose out on having the other love too. And I was aging out of it quickly, every day. So I made that decision once I was able to mourn the fact, okay, I'm not having children. And I was very open to surrogacy, adoption, and then but I said to my therapist, if a man comes along right now and is like, look, I don't want any more kids, or I don't want kids, but we're going to be enough. We're going to travel. We're going to, you know, have lazy Sundays. We're going to do all the things I know. Like, I'm so jealous that you guys get to do just like, oh, we're just going to lay in bed for, I don't even know how long. Yeah, I was, you know, if he was like, I will be enough, we will be enough, I would have said, okay, 1,000,000%. I would have said, okay. Now, obviously, on the other side of that, it's me and my daughter. And if it's only me and my daughter for the rest of my life, I will also be okay with that. Because that love is amazing. Do I believe I deserve both? Yes, I fucking do.
Yeah, and I still believe that you'll find both, you know? And it's crazy because, like, I tell Teddy this all the time. You know, I was in a couple of relationships prior to him that I thought I was in love.
Right.
And I really wasn't. I was in codependency, or I was in, you know, a trauma bond, or, you know, all kinds of different things. But Teddy is it's just different. And I think it's because he has allowed me to be so me.
Right.
And for like kind of the first time ever, you know, because like I grew up in the South during the 80s and the 90s. Let's just say there was a lot of trauma. And so, like, you know, now I'm in therapy finally and like working through all that kind of stuff and like actually like meeting myself and going, wow, a lot of this is because Teddy has brought that into my life. And like, this is now true love because I actually like myself and know myself. Right. And this other person lets me be weird and like do weird dances and make weird sounds. And he just goes,
We heard him. Weird sounds.
You haven't seen the dancing though. It's pretty.
Oh, we're going to see it, guys. Stay tuned.
But he just really allows me to exist just exactly as I am, doesn't want me to change. And I'm like, this is what true love is.
That's your path. That was your path.
Yeah.
It was always meant to be that way, I believe. And I think it's amazing. And also, if, let's say, it had been another relationship, or let's say it was earlier in your relationship with Teddy, and you got pregnant, and you had a kid, and you weren't working through what you've already worked through now, do you know what I mean? Then maybe you wouldn't have been, the right kind of mom, or you would have carried some of that trauma down to your child.
I'm so glad, honestly, especially for like any hypothetical children that could have existed, that I didn't mother from that place.
Right. Because a lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do. They think a child is going to fix something or fill something. They're going to fill that void.
And it just makes it even harder.
Oh my God, so much harder.
And then you mess up the kid.
Yes, of course. I mean, we always think we're going to mess up the kid no matter what we do. I'm sure even as an aunt, you probably said something and you're like, just erase that from your memory. I did not say that.
That didn't happen.
I think about it all the time, like, how much is this going to cost my daughter therapy, or me for that matter? And truthfully, if I look back to when I was younger, I wasn't mentally, I wasn't in the right frame of mind to raise a kid. I'm a different person now. And I think so many people think, yes, I'm just going to have a kid. It's going to fix my problems. My partner doesn't really love me. I don't feel loved. So I'll create life and that person will love me.
Because they have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my God. I mean, it's really, really sad that they put all of that on this tiny little, now that I'm a mom, I can see it. It's like, even when I'm, in a bad, I'm having a bad day and my daughter sees it, which she needs to see, or if I'm just like, I can't, mommy just needs a timeout.
Yeah.
She's just, you know what I mean? She's like, what? She doesn't understand. But if I needed a timeout all the time, oh my God, she would just be like, well, I guess I have to take care of myself. I guess there's no one here to take care of me, or we're in a codependent relationship, but it would have been a lot worse if I hadn't already like worked on myself before becoming a mom.
But it's funny because I started therapy a little over a year ago, like on a consistent basis. And my therapist was like, do you feel like your marriage is codependent? And like, because I hadn't ever really explored that, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And then she like was asking me and she was questions about it. And she was like, no, you actually just are in a healthy relationship where you guys trust each other and need each other and rely on each other. But it's not like you're making your life decisions based on him, and he's not making his life decisions based on you in like a desperate way. Right. So I think you and your daughter are probably just in a really healthy existence together.
I mean, sometimes we are, but it is a lot like when you have a child, like every day you are like, oh, who is she today? What mood is she going to be in? I mean, like I stay true to form, you know what I mean? And if I get pushed to a point, the other day I was like, I don't like your attitude. She just whipped around at 4 and goes, I don't like your attitude. But she said attitude. She couldn't say attitude. She goes, I don't like your attitude. I go, you don't even know what that means. You can't say it and you don't even know what that means. Mommy wins that round. I didn't say that last part, but I did walk out of the room thinking she doesn't know what that means. She's just, you know what I mean? Like she's 4, she doesn't get it. And it's just a very strange thing for me because I was so fiercely independent. Yeah. Fiercely. And on my own for a very long period of time. And now I am, I'm working at her speed. I'm doing everything, it's like, it's a lot for someone who's been alone for a very long time.
Even last week I got COVID, which I have no clue how I got COVID because I go to the grocery store every other week. And other than that, I don't leave my house. Like I teach from home. I do everything at home. And and Teddy's, they could inject it into his vein and he would get it. Like
because he's perfect, guys. He's perfect.
Truly. Although he can't close cabinets and cannot tell direction. So he has to have some flaws,
has some flaws. The cabinet thing, that's a little strange.
I'm like, why?
My dad doesn't close cabinets
that
either.
Hard?
Every time my dad comes to visit, every cabinet is open. What is it? It's a guy thing.
It's a guy thing.
And then if you had a child with him, your child wouldn't close any cabinets either.
Ever. Or
that's
drawers.
That's what they would have gotten from
That's the trait that they would have gotten.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was so sick. I was like, if I had a kid right now, I don't know what my life would look like.
Honestly, that's what there are a lot of things I miss about before having kids. Again, I don't want that life anymore. But yes, I also got COVID back in the summer of last year. And thankfully, we were visiting my best friend in Denver. I'd had it once before, also by my daughter. She had it twice, gave it to me twice. What a bitch. And also, it was very mild for her both times. The first time I got it was pretty mild. It wasn't bad for me. The second time, yes, I actually thought it was the flu because I've never really had the flu. And I thought I've never experienced anything like it. It was so, I couldn't get off of the floor. Like that's where the mattress was. I was laying, but I couldn't move. And if it was just me and her, I really don't know how I would have. That's my greatest fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I miss those times where I could just be sick. I could just, even when I'm just tired, I could just not do anything, not have to keep another human being alive. It's a lot of pressure.
And cleaning. I mean, it's so much. I mean,
it's a lot.
It's probably how Teddy feels about me because, like, let's be honest. Like, even in our wedding vows, the guy who married us, he's a good friend, but he was like, when he got to Teddy, he said, in sickness and in health, and Teddy, I want you to think about this because there's going to be a lot more sickness than there is health. And Teddy was like, I know. It was, I mean, and everybody laughed because it's like, it's Austin. She's always sick or hurt, you know,
Right.
It's just, it's my lot in life. But I was really thinking about that because actually you emailed me about this.
Right before, yeah.
Yeah. And then I got COVID and I was like, I would not be able to exist if I had to care for another human being right now.
I think, again, a lot of women in particular get caught in that cycle of thinking that is like, I have to become a mom. I'm going to become a mom. I mean, I feel like a lot of them used to, and now it's becoming more and more, acceptable to say out loud, because it wasn't women saying, I don't want to have kids, whether they're married or not. I already know that I don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
Women could not say that 30 years ago without everybody being like, what are you talking about?
So selfish.
So selfish. I love
Right.
when people say that. So selfish.
Yeah.
I think for me, nobody even asked me, really, which is funny. I just was single for a really long period of time. Everybody would be like, are you dating? But no one's ever like, do you want to have kids? Are you going to have kids? Nobody even asked that of me. Once I told people that I was trying to get pregnant on my own and trying to adopt, everyone said the same thing, like, oh my God, you would be such a great mom. Do people say that to you? Did they
all the time. All the
such
time.
a great mother.
Yeah. And, I have no doubt that I would be. Because I'm, emotionally still a child. So
So you guys would just be growing up together.
yeah, exactly. It would be great. We would get along. And, I love taking care. I started babysitting. That was like my first job when
Right.
I'm like 11. And now I look at like an 11-year-old and I'm like,
Oh my God. 100% no.
what were any of those parents thinking?
I think I was like 11 or 12. I was
Yeah.
like a mother's helper at 13, which basically meant during that summer, I was taking care of her 3 kids, one of them being a baby under a year. You put a 13-year-old girl in charge of your 3 kids, and one of them's a baby. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
FYI.
No, I mean,
they're alive today, guys.
I was probably 12 when we moved to our second house. And I think that's around like 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
You're 12. And my neighbor had just had a baby and she had a 2-year-old. And I would take care of them
Of a newborn.
all the time. And I'm like, how did it? And I would spend my babysitting money ordering Domino's to their house. Like,
Yeah.
which was right next door, and then go home and eat a full dinner with my family.
Remember when you could just eat like
oh, God.
3 suppers and be like, I feel great.
Everything's fine. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'll be skinny. But yeah, I mean, I babysat all the time. It's what I did when I first moved to LA.
Right.
I babysat all the time, keeping them for weeks at a time, you know?
Wow.
And I loved it. And I had a great time. And I love kids. I love taking care of my nieces and nephews. Every time I go home, I try to keep them for like 5 days,
Right.
The whole time I'm there. And I know I would be a great mom,
Right.
but at the same time, like we were saying earlier, I'm so glad I didn't, because looking back now, I'm like, oh wow, I would have parented from such a different such a more needy place
Exactly.
than I am now.
Right. And by the way, I like to point out, and I think I came to terms with this, like there's a lot of different ways you can be a mother. And by that I mean being a mentor when you're teaching, when I'm teaching. These are my babies. Your projects are your babies. Running into even somebody who's, a little bit younger than me in their 20s or 30s and like, we just have a great bond, and I'm there just to give advice, not even to mentor their career, just like advice or anything. Was very fulfilling for me, which is why I wasn't sure if I was confusing the two, that I really enjoy working with people, you know, being a head writer and having all these writers under me, that they are my babies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing them accomplish great things and succeed made me so happy. I was not sure. I really wasn't, because when I got to the point where I was like, is this the universe trying to tell me, like, don't have a kid because you can't get pregnant. You've tried multiple different ways. Then your career kind of took off, but then it came back down to a different level. And now, what are you doing? You're still not dating it. Like, I kept thinking, like, is this a sign that I shouldn't, that I should just keep, you know, helping and mentoring and being a mother-like figure to other people, and that'll be enough, and then maybe meet a man. Like, I was very confused. I'm not going to lie. I was very confused.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I saw my daughter, it all sort of came together. But that first month afterwards, I was like, I think all parents do that. I was like, honestly, what the fuck did I do to my life?
Right.
Because you're just like sleep
So
deprived,
tired, yeah.
You're so tired. But also, you realize at that moment, somewhere around there, oh my God, life will never be the same. Like, this will always be taking care of this person. Their needs will always come before mine.
Yeah.
In that sort of way. You know what I mean?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. Also, people used to tell me, you'd be such a great mom. And I would always go, why? And they go, because you're such a good cat mom.
So I keep the cat
So
alive.
I give my cat. So actually, my daughter
Right.
eats on the floor. She shits in a box. They were so right.
so
is what
easy
I'm
to
saying.
clean. Yeah. Exactly.
They were right. She has a cat bed. I mean, like, I had to like, oh, you're right. It's just 3 cats now. I have 3 cats in my house. One doesn't have a tail, but we love her anyway. Wait.
Or this could be a big reveal. You could tell us that your daughter has a tail, and you know.
Yes. I mean, this is a totally different podcast then. I mean, I would not be surprised in the state of the world if somebody came out and were like, I have a tail. If you were like, Jodi, I actually have a tail, I'd be like, cool.
Our people, they're like, their spine was just a little bit longer, and they kind of have like a little
They have a little nub. They
Yeah.
have a nub. Just the tip. It's just the tip, guys.
Just a little nub.
Just a little nub. It's not
Like
full
a boxer,
tail.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a fetish. I feel like, don't people do those implants? You know how they put the horns in their heads? I feel
Oh my
like
God, I saw some.
saw them in person.
There was a guy.
That's somebody's child, by the way.
Yeah.
That could have been your child.
You know, during COVID, when everybody was parking the RVs like on the street, and it was
They're
like
still doing
a
it,
whole
yes.
thing. In my neighborhood, it was like really bad. And I remember one day, Teddy and I were driving back from the grocery store, and there was a guy with like horns sitting on top of like a bus that had been converted into a home, you know, and I'm like, this is the weirdest experience I've ever had. And he's like, oh no, he got those implanted. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I've seen him at the gym, and they're like, he got them
permanent.
implanted into his head, and the skin is growing over and I'm like, we've lost the plot. Like,
Right.
as
See, now
as
how
a
would you
people.
handle that as a mother if your child came home and was like, look what I did. I have horns now, Mom. Because you didn't give them to me at birth in utero. You didn't pass down your horns.
Terrible mother.
So you're a terrible mother. I had to buy my own horns.
Yeah.
Stick them on my head.
Yours have always been there. We just can't see
you
them.
can't see them. I mean, I just have really long hair.
Yeah,
you do too.
exactly.
Lisa does
Yeah.
a really good job at covering our horns. Because I didn't know that this podcast was about having your horns. I mean, it's very, very interesting. And again, I think about alternate universe Jodi. If she is jet setting around the world. And by the way, I did. I toured the world with stand up, and I did it when I was, feeling great. Didn't have
Had
acid
energy.
reflux. Yes, didn't have acid reflux. Had
Your
energy.
knees still worked.
Exactly. Didn't have to pee every 5 seconds. I could just get wasted, fuck some military guy, come home.
We
I
were
was
just like
great.
so invincible and had no clue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel a little bit bad for my daughter because she's not getting the fittest version of me, although I really do try to stay active and work out and strength train so that I can still
Right.
do things with her. But like 20 years ago, Jodi, you know what I mean? The Jodi that I've created in my mind that still lives out there, she's AI Jodi. She's on a yacht. I made these pictures. Anyway, she's fabulous. She's living a fabulous life. And she can still drink, more than one drink. It's pretty amazing.
I've never been able to drink because I'm allergic to alcohol. I know that's
Oh.
shocking.
So you were actually designed to be a mother. You didn't even have to give it up. You wouldn't have.
Or just an invalid, either
is
way.
you.
And it's so hilarious because like my mom is like in so much better shape than I am, and like you know,
drink?
no,
Oh.
not really, no. Which it should have been like kind of a clue that I had a lot of health issues because like, you know, in the South, it's like you don't investigate any of the things, but it's like, oh, I can't eat that because it makes me like really sick. But it's just probably
But nobody
ever.
why.
Yeah, it's not food allergies.
Right.
It's not any type of like actual medical condition.
Meanwhile, it was like your mom just didn't want to cook that, and she's like, "You can't eat that because it'll make you sick."
Well, I mean, when I found out all of my food allergies that are actually not allergies, they're related to my immune system. I should be studied by science. But I remember when I found out all of the things that were making me sick, I called my mom and I was like, "Remember how you always told me that I was lazy and a hypochondriac?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Actually, you were poisoning me with the food that you were feeding me." And she was like, "Well, I didn't know." And I'm like, "Okay, well, glad we've cleared that up."
So now we know. I mean, if you had a child, you could have been poisoning your child too. See? Also, did she call you lazy and a hypochondriac?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's like, I call her like the PG asshole because like she's like, nothing is ever like crass, but she says some things that you're just like, wow. It was cut right to the bone.
It was a different time though. See, that's what I mean. I could not, if somebody ever heard me tell my daughter she was lazy or a hypochondriac, I'm not even supposed to say, "You're okay." That's like a new thing. Like if a kid falls or like bangs his arm, and they're not hurt really, but you're not supposed to be like, "You're okay, you're okay," which is what my parents were like, "You're okay, you're fine, you're okay." You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to, their feelings are valid. They feel hurt. They want to feel seen. It's like, shut up. She stubbed her toe. I get it. It sucks. You're fine. Walk it off. Shake it off.
Oh, I mean, I remember I was playing soccer and like I was the goalie because I didn't like running, and I broke my finger. It was literally like this, perpendicular.
Wow.
And I'm like, I need to go to the hospital. And my dad's like, I think it's just dislocated. Let me try to like pop it back in place. And I'm like, don't touch me. We're going to the hospital. And like they were like, yeah, it's broken. Like how could you? It's literally perpendicular.
You're like your dad's just like, I'll fix it. Let me just get my wrench.
Just put some tussin on it. I mean, like my whole life, you know, I got injured all the time because of all of you know the weirdness, the Austinism. But yeah, like it was always like, you're fine, you're okay. It's not a big deal.
I mean, childbirth could have killed you.
Oh, without a doubt.
Maybe that was your body's way of saying,
like I'm missing two discs in my lower spine because my body ate them. Oh. So like also if I was to get pregnant, like who knows if my back could even sustain that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wow. We're like out of time. I can't even believe it. I love talking to you. It's so good to like catch up. I haven't talked to this woman in a very long time, except again,
for
when we're getting our hair done.
when we're getting our hair done.
Where can everybody find you and see your work?
Lord. I'm on Instagram and Threads and what's the other one? Blue Sky?
I haven't.
Yeah. Because I got off Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. Blue Sky. I'm not on Blue Sky, but I'm going to have everything listed in the description below where they can find you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I don't know that I'm that interesting. I just post about Teddy a lot.
Well, we all want to see Teddy now. I think that's the interesting thing.
You really do. You really do.
Him. Yeah. I mean, I've met him, so I know that he is amazing. And you guys are an amazing couple, and
you're an amazing mom. And I truly owe all of my writing to you. So thank you.
God. Like, that's what I really had you on the show for. I want everyone to hear that. No, thank you guys for listening and watching. Make sure to subscribe and like so you never miss an episode. I'm Jodi Miller. Don't call me ma'am, but you can call me mom. Thanks for tuning in to Don't Call Me Ma'am. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you never miss an episode. See you next time.